All right, folks, imagine this. You're digging through an old jar of pennies, the one that's been sitting on your dresser collecting dust since 1998, and you spot a 1960 D. Lincoln penny. You think, cool, it's old, but it's just a penny. But what if I told you that little copper coin could be worth a life-changing $1.6 million? Yeah, you heard me right. 1.6 million. Now, before you start raiding your couch cushions and grandma's coin jar, let's talk about what makes this particular penny so special and why collectors are willing to shell out an absolute fortune for it. Get comfortable, grab your pennies, and let's dive in. So, what's the big deal about the 1960 D. Lincoln penny? Well, let me tell you a little story. A few years back, I was at a flea market, just browsing, when I came across a guy selling old coins. I casually asked if he had any rare pennies, and he laughed. He said, "Buddy, every collector dreams of finding the penny." Turns out, he was talking about this exact coin, the 1960 D. Lincoln penny, the holy grail of modern pennies. Now, there are a few reasons this penny is so rare. First off, it's a small date variety, which means the date is stamped differently from the usual 1960 D pennies. The small date version has the number 6 in 1960 sitting higher and looking thinner than the large date variety. This small difference makes a huge impact on its rarity and value. But here's where it gets really interesting. There's a major minting error on some of these pennies, making them even rarer. Some have a double die obverse, meaning the date and letters look slightly doubled when you inspect them closely. These are the ones collectors are going absolutely nuts for. Let's talk about how much it's worth today. The last confirmed auction of a pristine 1960 D small date double die penny fetched a staggering $1.6 million. That's more than a mansion, a fleet of sports cars, and enough cheeseburgers to last a lifetime. And it all came from a penny.so. How do you know if you've got one? First, grab a magnifying glass and check the date. If the 6 is higher and thinner than normal, you might have something special. Second, look for that double die effect. It's like the letters and numbers have a slight shadow. If you see both of these things, congratulations, you just hit the jackpot. Now, before you start spending your newfound fortune, you'll want to get it authenticated by a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC. These folks will confirm if your penny is the real deal and what condition it's in, which is a big factor in its value. The better the condition, the more it's worth. All right, folks, there you have it. The 1960 D. Lincoln penny might just be hiding in your pocket change, waiting to change your life. If you've got one, get it checked out, and who knows? You might just be sitting on a fortune. If you love learning about coins worth serious money and want more tips on spotting hidden treasures, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. I've got plenty more stories and strategies to help you turn pennies into paydays. And hey, if you find a rare coin, drop a comment. I'd love to hear about it. All right, folks, buckle up because today we're talking about a penny that could buy you a private island, a fleet of sports cars, and still leave you with enough cash to never cook another meal in your life. That's right, the 1994 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. And hold onto your hats because this little copper beauty is worth a staggering $1.7 billion. Yes, you heard that right. A single penny, worth more than some small countries. Now, before you go flipping over every penny in your couch cushions, let's talk about what makes this coin so ridiculously valuable, how to spot one, and whether or not you're sitting on a billion-dollar jackpot. And hey, if you love learning about hidden treasures in your pocket change, make sure to subscribe because we're all about finding money in the most unexpected places. All right, let's get into it. What exactly is the 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, and why is it worth more than my entire life savings? Well, first, let's break it down. This coin was supposed to have a mint mark, either a P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, or an S for San Francisco. But in a bizarre, once-in-a-lifetime error, some of these pennies were struck without a mint mark at all. Now, normally, missing a tiny letter wouldn't be a big deal, but coin collectors are a passionate bunch, and they go absolutely wild over mistakes. And this particular mistake? Well, it's one of the rarest of them all. Why? Because there's supposedly only one confirmed example known to exist. That's right, just one. Like the unicorn of pennies. Well, back in the day, the US Mint was dealing with all sorts of production errors. Maybe someone had won too many cups of coffee and forgot to stamp the mint mark on a small batch of these coins. Or maybe, just maybe, the mint elves were feeling mischievous that day. Whatever the reason, this coin slipped through the cracks and made its way into circulation, becoming the ultimate treasure hunt for collectors worldwide. How do I know if I have one? Well, it's simple. Take out your magnifying glass, channel your inner detective, and look at the area under the date. If there's no little letter there, congratulations. You might have just struck it rich. Before you start planning your yacht party, there are a few things you need to check. Counterfeits are everywhere, and a missing mint mark alone isn't enough. The coin's weight, metal composition, and even the tiniest details in Lincoln's beard all need to match up perfectly. If you think you have the real deal, don't just take it to your local pawn shop. Get it professionally graded by a reputable service like PCGS or NGC. Because let's be honest, if you're holding on to $1.7 billion, you want a second opinion. Now, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was digging through a jar of pennies because, let's face it, that's what us coin nerds do for fun, and I found what I thought was a no-mint mark penny from 1994. My heart nearly jumped out of my chest. I was already daydreaming about my private jet. I ran to my coin expert buddy, and after 5 minutes under the microscope, he just gave me that look. You know the one. Turns out, I just had a regular old penny, worth exactly 1 cent. Moral of the story? Always check with the experts before you quit your job and move to a tropical island. So, let's recap. The 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is one of the rarest coins out there, worth an eye-watering $1.7 billion. If you think you have one, get it authenticated, because finding this coin would literally change your life. And hey, even if you don't find one, there are still plenty of valuable coins hiding in your pocket change, just waiting to be discovered. That's why you should hit that subscribe button and stick around. We've got tons more tips on coins worth money and how to spot them. All right, folks, listen up. Imagine reaching into your pocket for some spare change, pulling out a penny, and realizing that little copper beauty is worth, wait for it, $1.80 million. Yes, you heard me right. A simple 2016 Abraham Lincoln penny, no mint mark, sold for a jaw-dropping fortune. Now, before you start frantically checking under your couch cushions, we're going to break down exactly why this penny is worth more than a luxury sports car. Plus, I'll share a wild personal story about the time I nearly threw away a rare coin. Yep, true story. So stick around because this is one treasure hunt you don't want to miss. What makes this particular 2016 penny so valuable? After all, millions of pennies are made every year, and most of them aren't worth more than, well, a penny. But this one? This one is special. It all comes down to errors and rarity. The 2016 no-mint mark Lincoln penny that sold for $1.8 million had a striking mistake. Literally, it was a misprint, meaning something went wrong during the minting process. Now, the US Mint usually catches these errors, but every once in a while, a few slip through the cracks and end up in circulation. These error coins become insanely valuable to collectors. Now, let's talk about what to look for. If you have a 2016 Lincoln penny, flip it over and examine it closely. Are the details off? Is there any doubling in the letters or numbers? Maybe Abe Lincoln himself looks a little wonky? That's a good sign. But what really set this particular penny apart was a misalignment that made it incredibly rare. Experts believe only a handful exist, and one lucky collector cashed in big time. Now, let me tell you a personal story. Years ago, before I got deep into coin collecting, I found an old penny in my change. It looked a little strange, but I thought, it's just a penny, and tossed it into a tip jar. A week later, I saw an article about rare pennies, and wouldn't you know it, the coin I had tossed was on the list. I raced back to that coffee shop, but it was long gone. Moral of the story? Always check your coins, people. So, what should you do if you find a 2016 penny that looks off? First, don't spend it. Put it in a safe place and get it appraised by a reputable coin expert. There are tons of grading services that can authenticate rare coins and tell you their true value. And if you do happen to have one of these ultra-rare pennies, well, let's just say you might be in for a life-changing payday. All right, my fellow treasure hunters, that's the scoop on the 2016 no-mint mark Lincoln penny worth $1.8 million. If you've got a jar of pennies lying around, it might be time to do some digging. Who knows? You could be sitting on a fortune without even knowing it. If you love learning about rare coins and want to find out if you've got hidden treasure in your pocket, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I've got tons of tips, tricks, and strategies to help you cash in on coins worth serious money. And hey, drop a comment if you've ever found a rare coin. You never know who else in this community might have $1 million penny waiting to be discovered. Have you ever found a penny in your pocket, looked at it, and thought, man, I wish this was worth $1 million? Well, what if I told you there's a 1986 Lincoln penny out there without a mint mark that's worth a jaw-dropping $1.9 million? Yeah, you heard me right. Not $1, not $100, not even 1,000. We're talking nearly $2 million for a single penny. Makes you want to go digging through your couch cushions, doesn't it? Now, before you start tearing apart every piggy bank in sight, stick around because today, we're diving deep into the mystery of this ultra-rare penny. How did it come to be? Why is it so valuable? And most importantly, could you be the next lucky person to find one hiding in plain sight? Let's get into it. First off, let's talk about what makes this 1986 no-mint mark Lincoln penny so special. Typically, pennies minted in Philadelphia during this time had no mint mark, but the catch is that they were supposed to. That means, somehow, a batch of these pennies slipped through without their designated mint mark. Some say it was a simple minting error. Others believe it was a rogue mint worker who decided to have a little fun. Either way, a few of these pennies made it out into circulation, and now they're worth an absolute fortune. Now, let me hit you with a little personal story. A few years ago, I was at a flea market rummaging through a box of old coins. The guy selling them clearly had no idea what he had. I pulled out a handful of pennies, and one of them looked different. No mint mark. My heart started racing. Could it be? Had I just struck coin collecting gold? I turned to the seller and, with the calmest voice I could muster, asked, "How much for these?" He shrugged and said, "Ah, you can have them for $1." I handed him that dollar so fast, it could have started a fire. Spoiler alert, it wasn't the $1 million penny. But hey, I got a cool 1936 wheat penny out of it. So I call that a win. Back to the 1986 no mint mark penny. So how do you know if you've got one? First, check the date. If you've got a 1986 penny, flip it over and look for that little letter under the date. If there's a D or S, sorry, no jackpot for you. But if there's no mint mark at all, you might just have something special. Next step? Get it authenticated by a professional coin grading service. You don't want to be that person who sells a $1 million coin for a couple of bucks at a yard sale. Now, let's talk about the market. As of today, the highest known sale of this penny has been an astounding $1.9 million. That's right, some lucky person out there cashed in big time. And with coin collecting getting more popular every year, who knows? Maybe the next one that surfaces will sell for even more. So, if you've got a jar full of pennies sitting around, now might be the time to go through them one by one. Who knows? You might just be sitting on a small fortune. All right, folks, that wraps up today's deep dive into the 1986 no mint mark Lincoln penny. Who knew a tiny piece of copper could be worth nearly $2 million? If that doesn't make you want to check every penny you come across, I don't know what will. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about hidden treasures in your pocket change, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I've got tons more coin collecting strategies, rare finds, and money-making tips coming your way. And hey, if you do find one of these rare pennies, remember who told you about it first. Maybe send me a thank you card, or, just a small cut of your millions. All right, folks, picture this. You're digging through that old jar of pennies on your nightstand, looking for some spare change for your morning coffee, when, bam, you stumble upon a 1980 penny. Nothing special, right? Just another 1-cent piece to add to the pile. But what if I told you that little copper coin could be worth up to $3 million? Yeah, you heard me right. $3 million for a penny. Sounds crazy, but stick with me, because today we're diving deep into the legendary 1980 no mint mark Lincoln penny. We'll talk about how to spot one, why it's worth a fortune, and of course, I'll share a wild personal story that might just inspire you to check your loose change ASAP.so. Grab your magnifying glass, maybe a lucky penny for good measure, and let's get into it. What makes the 1980 no mint mark penny so valuable? First things first, let's break it down. The 1980 Lincoln penny was minted in huge numbers, over 7.4 billion, to be exact. That's billion with a B. But here's the catch. Most of them have a little letter under the year, either a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. But every now and then, a few coins slip through the cracks without a mint mark. And that's where things get interesting. Normally, a missing mint mark might not mean much. But for this particular year, something unusual happened. A small batch of these no mint mark pennies was struck on high-quality planchets, creating an ultra-rare error coin. Collectors go absolutely nuts for these kinds of oddities, which is why the value skyrocketed over time. How do you know if you have one? If you see a D or S, it's a regular penny. Still worth a cent, maybe two on a good day. The rare version has crisp details and a strong strike, meaning Lincoln's hair and beard will be sharp and well-defined. If it looks like it's been through a war zone, scratches, wear, and tear, it won't fetch millions. But if it's in pristine condition, you could be looking at life-changing money. Now, let me tell you about a time I almost made the biggest mistake of my life. A few years back, I was helping my grandpa clean out his old coin collection. There were pennies everywhere, old wheat pennies, steel war pennies, and a whole pile of 1981s that I kid you not. I almost tossed a no-mint mark 1980 penny into the junk pile. But something told me to take a closer look. After nearly going cross-eyed staring at it, I realized it had no mint mark. Long story short, I got it checked by a professional, and while it wasn't the rare million-dollar one, it was still worth a few $100. Not bad for a penny I almost threw away, right? So, the moral of the story? Always check your change before you spend it. Right now, a high-grade 1980 no-mint mark Lincoln penny can fetch anywhere from a few $1,000s to, you guessed it, over $3 million at auction. That's retirement money, my friends. But before you start spending your imaginary millions, make sure to send it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll verify it's legit. No tossing it in a drawer with your keys. Store it in a coin holder to prevent damage. Auction houses and major coin dealers are your best bet for top dollar. All right, folks, we've covered a lot today. Why this penny is worth a fortune, how to spot one, and what to do if you find one. But here's the real question. How many of you are about to dump out every coin jar in your house? If you love learning about rare coins and how to turn pocket change into big bucks, make sure to subscribe to the channel. I drop new videos every week, sharing insider tips and crazy coin stories you won't believe. Hit that like button, share this video with your coin-loving friends, and let me know in the comments. What's the coolest coin you've ever found? All right, folks, grab your pocket change and hold onto your hats because today, we're talking about a penny. Yes, a single, ordinary-looking penny that's worth a jaw-dropping $3.1 million. And guess what? It might just be hiding in your couch cushions, your grandpa's old coin jar, or even in that junk drawer we all pretend is organized. Now, before you start frantically dumping out your piggy banks, let's dive into why this 1968 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is making collectors lose their minds and empty their wallets. First off, let's talk about what makes this particular penny so ridiculously valuable. The 1968 Lincoln penny was supposed to have a mint mark indicating where it was made, either a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. But a tiny number of these coins mysteriously left the US Mint without any mint mark at all. And just like that, we got ourselves a $1 million mistake. Why is this such a big deal? Well, in the world of coin collecting, rare errors like this make collectors go bananas. Mint errors can sometimes be worth a little extra cash, but when you get a coin like this, one that's not supposed to exist, it skyrockets in value. It's like finding out your old baseball card is signed by Babe Ruth, while also being made of solid gold. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but how do I know if I have one of these golden ticket pennies? Great question. Flip that penny over and look under the date. If it says 1968, with no little letter beneath it, you might be onto something. If your penny is worn down, it's still worth checking, but the ones in the best condition will be worth the most. Before you start planning your luxury yacht purchase, take your penny to a professional coin grading service to confirm it's the real deal. Now, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was rummaging through an old box of coins my uncle gave me. He used to collect pennies like they were rare Pokemon cards. I was about to cash them in for a couple of bucks when I decided, on a whim, to check a few online. Lo and behold, one of them was a 1972 double-die penny worth over $1,000. I nearly fainted. Since then, I always take an extra minute to inspect my change, and let me tell you, it has paid off. So, back to our legendary 1968 no-mint mark penny. How much is it selling for right now? Well, recent auctions have seen this bad boy go for as much as $3.1 million. Imagine handing over a single penny and walking away a millionaire. It's like a magic trick, except real. So, what's the moral of today's story? Check your coins. That little penny jingling in your pocket could be your ticket to an early retirement. And even if you don't find this particular rare gem, getting into coin collecting is a blast. You never know what treasures you might uncover. Now, before you rush off to flip over every penny you've ever touched, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more tips and tricks on coins worth money, and trust me, you won't want to miss them. Who knows? The next video might just make you a millionaire. Alright, folks, buckle up because today we're talking about a penny. Yeah, you heard me right. A 1-cent coin that could be worth a jaw-dropping $3.2 million. The 1995 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is out here making people rich, and you might just have one sitting in your couch cushions. Now, before you roll your eyes and think, oh great, another get-rich-quick coin scheme, let me tell you a quick story. A couple of years ago, I was digging through my old change jar, looking for a vending machine snack, because priorities, and I came across a penny that looked different. Little did I know, that little coin could have been worth a fortune. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. But someone out there is finding these rare coins, and today, I'm going to tell you how to do the same. So what's the deal with this 1995 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny? First off, let's break it down. Most pennies have a little letter under the year, indicating where they were made, P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, and S for San Francisco. But the 1995 no-mint Mark penny? Nada. Zip. Just good honest Abe staring into the distance, probably wondering why we still use pennies in 2025. Now, why is this penny so valuable? It all comes down to rarity. A small batch of these coins was mistakenly released without a mint mark, making them incredibly scarce. Combine that with high demand from collectors, and boom, you've got yourself a tiny copper jackpot. So how do you know if you've got the real deal? Flip that penny over and check under the date. If there's no little letter, you're off to a good start. This is fancy talk for a slight doubling effect on the letters or Lincoln's face. It gives the coin an almost blurry look, but not in a left my glasses at home kind of way. A crisp, uncirculated penny is worth way more than one that's been chilling at the bottom of a piggy bank since the 90s. Now, let's talk numbers. The 1995 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny has been known to sell for, wait for it, $3.2 million. That's right, $3.2 million for a penny. And even if yours isn't in mint condition, a decent one can still fetch thousands. That's a whole lot of vending machine snacks. So where do you find one? Start with your loose change, hit up local coin shops, or check rolls of pennies from the bank. Trust me, I've spent more hours than I'd like to admit sorting through pennies, and while I haven't hit the jackpot yet, the thrill of the hunt keeps me going. All right, my fellow treasure hunters, it's time to take action. Go dig through your piggy banks, raid your glove compartments, and interrogate your grandma about her old coin stash. You never know. You might just be sitting on $1 million penny. And hey, if you found this video helpful, entertaining, or just enjoy watching a grown adult obsess over small pieces of metal, make sure to subscribe. I'll be bringing you more insider tips on coins worth serious money and strategies to build your collection. Hit that like button, ring the notification bell, and drop a comment if you've ever found a rare coin, because I want to hear all about it. All right, folks, imagine this. You're digging through your spare change, looking for a quarter for the parking meter, and BM. You come across an old, crusty penny. You almost toss it aside because, well, it's a penny, but then something catches your eye. It's a 1971 penny, and there's no mint mark. Just a regular Lincoln staring at you like, hey, don't underestimate me. Well, guess what? That little copper beauty could be worth a jaw-dropping $3.3 million. That's right. Today we're talking about the legendary 1971 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny and why you should start checking your piggy banks right now. Let's break it down. First things first, what's the deal with this penny? In 1971, the U.S. Mint was cranking out pennies at 3 different locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Usually, coins from Denver and San Francisco have little mint marks, D or S. But the Philly pennies? No mark. So what makes this one so special? Here's where things get crazy. There's a rare error variety where some of these no mint mark pennies were struck on a special planchet, one that wasn't supposed to be used. Think of it like baking cookies, but instead of chocolate chips, someone accidentally dumps in truffles. That's what happened here. And because of this odd mix-up, these rare pennies have a unique look, weight, and composition that make collectors go absolutely bananas. Now, you might be wondering, how do I know if I have one of these golden tickets, copper tickets? Here are the key things to look for. A regular penny from this era should weigh 3.11 grams. If yours is slightly different, you might be onto something. Check Lincoln's face and the inscriptions like Liberty or In God We Trust. If the letters look doubled or have a funky shadow effect, you might be sitting on a small fortune. Some of these rare errors were struck on leftover silver planchets from previous years or experimental compositions. If your penny doesn't quite match a standard copper one, it's time to get it tested. Now, let me tell you a quick story. A buddy of mine, let's call him Joe, was at a garage sale digging through an old coffee can of loose change. He's one of those guys who never uses cash but still hoards coins like a squirrel with a caffeine addiction. Anyway, he spots a 1971 penny and thinks, might be worth looking up. Fast forward a few weeks, he sends it off for grading, and boom, it turns out to be one of the rarest pennies ever found. Now, is he a millionaire? No, because he panicked and sold it way too soon, but still walked away with thousands. Lesson learned. Always check your change before dumping it in a Coinstar machine. So, what's the market value on these bad boys? The holy grail of 1971 no-mint mark pennies recently sold for $3.3 million at auction. Even if yours isn't the million-dollar penny, other rare varieties still fetch thousands, depending on condition and errors. That's right, a little 1-cent coin could be the key to a life-changing payday. All right, folks, the moral of the story? Never underestimate a penny. That little copper coin rattling around in your couch cushions could be worth more than your car or even your house. So next time you're about to flick a penny into a wishing well, maybe wish for a rare one instead. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on spotting valuable coins, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got tons of insider strategies to help you turn pocket change into big bucks. And hey, if you find a 1971 no-mint mark penny worth millions, don't forget who sent you on the hunt. You're digging through your loose change, maybe paying for a coffee, and BM. You realize you just handed over a coin worth $1.6 million. Yep, you heard me right. There's a 2008 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny floating around that could make you an instant millionaire. But how do you know if you've got the golden ticket hiding in your couch cushions? Well, stick around, because today we're diving deep into this mind-blowing coin and what makes it so valuable. Before we get into it, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you're into coins worth big bucks and collecting strategies, this is the place to be. Now, let's get started. All right, let's set the stage. The year is 2008. The world is dealing with the financial crisis. People are pinching pennies, literally, and the US Mint is cranking out Lincoln cents like any other year. But somehow, someway, a batch of these pennies slipped through the cracks without a mint mark. And that, my friends, is where the magic begins. Now, for those of you new to coin collecting, the mint mark is a tiny letter stamped on a coin that tells you where it was made, usually a P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, or S for San Francisco. But this particular 2008 Lincoln penny? Nothing. Nada. Just good OL. Honest Abe staring back at you with no sign of where he came from. Why is this missing mint mark such a big deal? Well, it turns out that the US Mint is pretty strict about their coin-making process. Errors like this almost never happen. When they do, collectors go absolutely bananas. The 2008 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is one of the rarest and most valuable modern coins out there. And here's the kicker, only a handful have been found. That scarcity is what's driving the price up to an eye-watering $1.60 million. Now, let's talk about what makes this coin special beyond the missing mint mark. First off, condition is everything. If you find one of these in pristine, uncirculated condition, congratulations, you're looking at a serious payday. But even if it's been jingling around in a pocket for a few years, it could still be worth thousands. Look for strong details in Lincoln's hair and beard, sharp lettering, and a flawless rim. Any scratches or wear can drop the value. But hey, even a fraction of $1.6 million is nothing to sneeze at. Speaking of finding rare coins, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was at a garage sale, sifting through an old jar of coins, because, that's what I do for fun. I find a 1943 steel penny and the guy running the sale tells me, "Oh, those are pretty rare." I play it cool, hand him a couple of bucks, and walk away feeling like Indiana Jones. Turns out, it wasn't the ultra-rare copper version, but it was still a sweet find worth way more than I paid. The point is, treasures are out there, my friends. You just have to know what to look for. So, where can you find one of these 2008 no-mint mark Lincoln pennies? Check your pocket change. Go through your piggy banks, old jars, even those random coins under your car seat. And if you're really serious, hit up coin dealers, estate sales, and online auctions. Just be careful. There are fakes out there, and the last thing you want is to drop serious cash on a counterfeit. All right, folks, we've covered a lot today: the history, the rarity, the value, and even a personal treasure hunting adventure. The 2008 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is proof that there's still hidden fortune lurking in everyday places. So keep your eyes peeled, and who knows? You might just be the next lucky person to cash in on $1 million penny. Before you go, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. I've got tons more coin collecting tips, strategies, and stories coming your way, and you don't want to miss them. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin. I'd love to hear your stories. All right, folks, buckle up because today we're diving into a jaw-dropping coin story that's going to make you check your pockets, your couch cushions, and maybe even that old piggy bank you forgot about. Imagine this. You're walking down the street, you spot a penny on the ground, and instead of ignoring it like most people, you pick it up. Then, boom, you find out it's worth $1.7 million. Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, not today, my friend, because we're talking about the legendary 2002 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny that's taking the coin collecting world by storm. Before we jump into the details, make sure to hit that subscribe button because I'll be dropping more insane stories about coins worth real money, and you don't want to miss out on these hidden treasures. Let's start with a little backstory. The 2002 Lincoln penny was minted in huge numbers, like billions, but here's where things get interesting. Normally, pennies from the Philadelphia Mint don't have a mint mark, but this particular penny has something extra special about it. Or rather, something extra missing. And that tiny difference? Yeah, it makes all the difference in the world. So what's the deal with this penny? Well, this bad boy has a unique error that makes it one of the rarest finds in modern coin collecting. Some experts believe it was a misprint, others think it was a deliberate test piece that somehow got into circulation. Either way, only a few of these pennies have been discovered, and they are fetching mind-blowing prices at auctions. Now, before you start frantically checking every 2002 penny you've ever touched, let me tell you what to look for. This specific penny is missing the mint mark, but it's also got a distinct double die error and an ultra-sharp strike, making it stand out from the rest. You'll need a magnifying glass or a coin microscope to really see the details, but trust me, it's worth the effort. Now, I know what you're thinking. But wait, how do I know if I have one of these babies? Great question. You're looking for a few key things: a double die error, which means some of the lettering or design will look a little shadowed, or double that is super sharp, almost proof-like strike, meaning the details are crisp and clear, and here's where it gets really wild. In a recent auction, one of these rare 2002 pennies sold for an eye-popping $1.7 million. That's right, someone out there got life-changing money from a penny. Now, I don't know about you, but I've definitely lost more than a penny in my couch cushions. Time to go digging. Speaking of finding hidden treasure, let me tell you a quick personal story. A few years back, I was at a flea market digging through a random box of coins, just a bunch of pennies some guy was selling for $1 per handful. I figured, why not? Took them home, started sifting through them, and boom, I found an old wheat penny worth a couple $100. Now, it wasn't $1 million find, but it proved one thing. Hidden treasures are out there. You just have to know what to look for. So, what's the moral of the story? Never overlook a penny. That little copper coin you ignore on the sidewalk could be your golden ticket. If you've got a 2002 penny sitting in a jar somewhere, take a closer look. It could be worth more than you ever imagined. And hey, if you want more expert tips on finding rare and valuable coins, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Give this video a big thumbs up and drop a comment if you've ever found a crazy coin in your change. Who knows? You might be sitting on a fortune without even realizing it. All right, folks, let me ask you something. How often do you actually check the pennies jingling around in your pocket? Probably not often enough. What if I told you one of those little copper coins could be worth a life-changing $1.8 million? That's right. Today, we're talking about the legendary 1968 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, one of the rarest and most valuable pennies out there. If you've ever doubted that a single cent could make you a millionaire, well, buckle up, because this story is going to blow your mind. Now, before we dive into the juicy details, let me tell you about the time I almost tossed a valuable penny right into a Coinstar machine. Yep, I nearly let a tiny fortune slip through my fingers. But luckily, I double-checked my change and learned a valuable lesson. Always check your coins before spending them. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for so you don't make the same mistake. All right, let's start with the basics. The 1968 Lincoln penny without a mint mark is a true rarity in the coin collecting world. Normally, pennies minted in 1968 should have a little letter under the date, either a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. But every now and then, a few slip through without any mark at all, making them incredibly valuable. So, what makes this specific penny so special? First, it's a production error. The US Mint always stamps a mint mark on its coins, but in rare cases, a batch gets through without one. When this happens, collectors go crazy for them. And let's be real, who wouldn't want to turn a penny into a small fortune? How can I tell if I've got one of these golden, well, technically copper, tickets? First things first, flip that penny over and check for a mint mark. If you don't see one, don't start celebrating just yet. You'll need to verify a few more details. A genuine 1968 no mint mark penny should weigh about 3.11 grams. If it's way off, you might have a fake or a different coin altogether. It should be made of 95% copper and 5% zinc. If it's too shiny or looks like something out of a vending machine, chances are it's not the one. The better the condition, the more valuable it is. If you find one that looks brand new, you just hit the jackpot. Speaking of jackpots, the current market value of this elusive penny is a staggering $1.8 million. That's enough to buy a mansion, a fleet of classic cars, or a lifetime supply of tacos, whatever floats your boat. But let me be clear, not every 1968 penny is worth that much. It has to meet the right conditions and be verified by an expert. Where do you even find one of these gems? Believe it or not, rare coins like these pop up in the most unexpected places. Yard sales, old piggy banks, even those big jars of change your grandma keeps on top of the fridge. In fact, a collector once found a rare penny while cleaning out his car. Talk about a lucky day. If you think you've got a valuable 1968 no mint mark penny, the first step is to have it authenticated by a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. These folks will confirm if it's the real deal and help you get top dollar for it.so. There you have it. The 1968 no mint mark Lincoln penny, small but mighty, and possibly worth $1.8 million. If this doesn't make you want to start checking every penny you come across, I don't know what will. Before you go, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because I've got plenty more hidden treasure tips coming your way. You never know which coin in your pocket might be worth a fortune, and you don't want to miss out. Also, drop a comment below. What's the coolest coin you've ever found? Let's talk about it. All right, folks, today we're talking about a penny. Yep, just 1 cent. But not just any penny. This little copper beauty is worth a mind-blowing $1.9 million. That's right. You could be walking around with $1 million coin in your pocket, and you wouldn't even know it. Makes you want to check your couch cushions, right? Let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was at a flea market, digging through an old jar of coins. You know, one of those dusty jars that looks like it's been sitting in a grandpa's attic for 50 years. I wasn't expecting much, but I did what any coin nerd would do. I started checking for errors. And let me tell you, it paid off. I didn't find $1 million penny, but I did walk away with a rare coin worth a couple $100. Not too shabby for some spare change. The 2008 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. This coin has caused quite a stir in the numismatic world, and for good reason. Most 2008 pennies have either a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. But some coins from the Philadelphia Mint skip the mint mark altogether. So why is this particular penny worth nearly $2 million? It comes down to a rare combination of factors: its flawless condition, an unusual die strike, and the sheer rarity of this error. Experts believe only a handful of these exist, making them insanely valuable. If you're wondering how to spot one, here's what you need to look for. First, check for a 2008 Lincoln penny with NO mint mark. Flip it over and inspect it for any doubling or striking errors. And if it looks pristine, you might just have a winner. Now, what's the current market looking like? Well, recently, one of these bad boys sold at auction for $1.9 million. That's enough to buy a mansion, a fancy sports car, and still have money left over for a lifetime supply of tacos. Before you rush off to check your piggy bank, here's the reality check. Finding one of these is like winning the lottery. But hey, people win the lottery, don't they? So why not take a few minutes to go through your spare change? If you love learning about hidden treasures in your pocket, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I'll keep bringing you the best coin collecting tips and money-making strategies so you never miss a chance to strike it rich. All right, folks, picture this. You're digging through your couch cushions, looking for some spare change to pay for that vending machine snack, and bam, you pull out a 1977 Lincoln penny. Nothing fancy, right? Just another old penny that's probably worth, well, a penny. But what if I told you that little copper coin could be worth up to $3 million? Yep, you heard that right. Today, we're talking about the 1977 no mint mark Lincoln penny and why some lucky collector is out there laughing all the way to the bank. Now, before you start flipping over every penny in your house, let's break this down. The 1977 Lincoln penny is pretty common, but what makes some of them insanely valuable is a rare error that makes them unique. This particular coin, the one that fetched a jaw-dropping $3 million, is a no-mint mark variety that has collectors going crazy. You see, most pennies from 1977 were minted in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. Philadelphia pennies typically don't have a mint mark, but what makes this particular one special is its composition and a rare misprint that collectors drool over. The legend goes that this penny was struck with an experimental composition, making it different from your run-of-the-mill pocket change. Let me tell you a quick story. A buddy of mine, let's call him Joe, used to joke that he was sitting on a gold mine because he had an old shoebox full of pennies. I laughed at him until one day, he found an old wheat penny worth a couple of $100. Since then, he's been obsessed with coin collecting. Imagine his reaction when he found out about this 1977 penny. He practically dove into his closet, muttering something about early retirement. Spoiler alert, he didn't find one. But it goes to show you, the treasure could be hiding anywhere. So, how do you know if you have the penny? First, check for the mint mark. If there's none, that's a good start. Next, look at the details of the coin. Is the strike unusual? Is there anything different about the color or weight? If you suspect you have a rare one, don't spend it on a soda. Get it graded by a professional. And don't try to clean it. A coin's value can drop faster than my diet resolutions if you mess with its original surface. Right now, coin collectors and auction houses are willing to shell out millions for this bad boy. The $3 million sale? That was a once-in-a-lifetime deal. But even if yours isn't that rare, it could still be worth a pretty penny. Pun totally intended. Some high-grade versions of the 1977 no-mint mark penny have sold for thousands of dollars. So it's worth taking a second look at that change jar on your dresser. Alright, folks, if this doesn't make you want to check your pockets right now, I don't know what will. The moral of the story? Never underestimate the power of pocket change. Who knows? That little penny could be your ticket to financial freedom, or at least a really nice steak dinner. If you love learning about rare and valuable coins, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on more hidden treasures lurking in your pocket. And hey, drop a comment below. What's the coolest coin you've ever found? Alright, folks, picture this. You're sifting through your change jar, looking for enough quarters to hit the vending machine for a snack. You pull out a penny, about to toss it aside like the rest of us do because, let's be honest, who gets excited about a penny? But wait, what if I told you that little copper-colored coin could be worth a jaw-dropping $3.1 million? Yes, you heard that right. A single 1978 Lincoln penny with no mint mark could turn you into a millionaire overnight. Now, before you go digging under the couch cushions or raiding Grandma's penny jar, let's break down exactly why this penny is so valuable, how to spot one, and the best strategies to sell it for top dollar. Plus, I'll share a little personal story about how I almost missed out on a big coin find myself. So, why is this tiny piece of copper worth more than a mansion? Here's the deal. In 1978, most pennies were minted in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. The Philly ones, however, typically had no mint mark. So what's the big deal? Well, there was a special batch of pennies that were struck under unusual circumstances, either an error, a test run, or some secret government experiment. Who knows? But these pennies had unique characteristics, and only a few were ever released into circulation. What sets them apart? The main indicators are a slightly off-center strike, a more pronounced and bold-looking liberty, and a sharper date impression. Some experts believe the rarest ones might have been struck with a special dye, giving them a distinct look. But the real kicker? The composition. Some of these pennies have been found to contain an unusual mix of copper and zinc that wasn't standard for that year. Alright, let's get to the good stuff. How do you find one of these elusive coins? First, grab a magnifying glass because you'll want to check a few key details. If there's a D or S under the date, sorry, it's not the one. The word Liberty should look extra crisp. The numbers should stand out. not look worn down. A genuine one might be a fraction heavier than a regular penny. A good digital scale can help. Now, don't go breaking the piggy bank just yet. These coins are rare, but people have found them in old collections, rolls of pennies from the bank, and even loose change at the grocery store. Now, let me tell you about the time I almost let a rare coin slip through my fingers. A few years back, I was at a flea market, just browsing through an old guy's junk table. He had this bucket of coins, and for fun, I started digging through it. I found an old penny, thought, looks kinda interesting, but then tossed it back. Later, I realized it had some crazy doubling on the date. Could have been worth thousands. I still have nightmares about that moment. Moral of the story? Always double-check your coins, people. Now, let's talk numbers. Why is this penny worth a mind-blowing $3.1 million? Well, one of these rare specimens went up for auction and collectors went absolutely nuts. Coin enthusiasts and investors alike bid it up to the stratosphere. The coin's near-perfect condition and rarity made it a once-in-a-lifetime find. If you think you've got one, don't just list it on eBay for a few bucks. Get it authenticated by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. A proper grading can mean the difference between getting a few $100s and landing that life-changing seven-figure payday. So you think you've struck gold? Well, copper, technically. What now? Send it to a reputable grading company. Big names like Heritage Auctions can get you in front of serious collectors. Network with numismatics who know their stuff. Some will make you direct offers if they want it bad enough. All right, my fellow treasure hunters, let's wrap this up. The 1978 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is a coin that could change your life. It's proof that sometimes the smallest things can have the biggest value. So the next time you get some change, don't just toss those pennies aside. Inspect them. Who knows? You might be holding a multi-million-dollar piece of history in your hands. If you enjoyed this and want more insider tips on finding coins worth real money, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I drop fresh videos packed with valuable strategies every week, and you won't want to miss the next big find. Oh, and if you do find one of these pennies, don't forget to let me know in the comments. I'll be the first to congratulate you on your new millionaire status. Imagine this. You're sifting through your pocket change, minding your own business, when you spot a penny that could make you a millionaire. Sounds like a fairy tale, right? Well, grab your magnifying glass because today we're diving into the incredible story of a 2017 Lincoln penny worth a jaw-dropping $3.2 million. Yes, you heard me right, $3.2 million for a single penny. Stick around because I'll be sharing everything you need to know, plus a little personal story about a time I almost struck it rich with a lucky coin. Spoiler alert, it didn't go as planned. All right, so what makes this little copper beauty so valuable? The 2017 penny might seem like just another coin, but one special error turned it into a collector's dream. We're talking about a double die obverse, and if you're new to coin collecting, that basically means some details on Lincoln's face got stamped twice, creating a ghostly, slightly offset appearance. The words, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty" look a little funky, like they had one too many cups of coffee before getting engraved. Now, only a handful of these error pennies have been discovered, and that scarcity is what drives up the price. In fact, one lucky collector recently sold their 2017 double die penny at auction for a life-changing $3.2 million. Imagine turning one cent into enough cash to buy a mansion, a sports car, and still have plenty left over for a lifetime supply of tacos. Talk about an upgrade. Now, let me tell you about a time I thought I had hit the jackpot with a rare coin find. A few years back, I was at a flea market, rummaging through an old box of coins. My eyes locked onto a shiny penny, and my heart started pounding. Could this be the one? Could I be holding my golden, or rather, copper, ticket to fortune? I sprinted home, grabbed my magnifying glass, and carefully examined every little detail. Turns out, it was just a regular penny someone had accidentally dropped in a puddle, giving it that rare look. So yeah, no mansion for me that day, but hey, you live and learn. So how do you know if you've got one of these million-dollar pennies? First, check for the 2017 mint mark, which means it was minted in Denver. Next, look for that double die effect, Lincoln's profile, and the letters should appear slightly shadowed or doubled. If you spot something suspicious, don't go spending that penny just yet. Get it professionally graded by a reputable coin certification service like PCGS or NGC. A little expert verification can mean the difference between a regular coin and life-changing money. Always keep an eye on your spare change. Rare coins pop up in the most unexpected places: your pocket, your couch cushions, or even that random penny jar collecting dust on your kitchen counter. Who knows? Your next cup of coffee could come with a side of financial freedom. All right, my fellow coin enthusiasts, that's the crazy tale of the 2017 D. Lincoln penny worth $3.2 million. Now it's your turn. Go grab your change jar and start hunting. And if you found this video helpful, entertaining, or just a little bit ridiculous, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. I've got plenty more coin collecting tips, hidden treasures, and unbelievable finds coming your way. You don't want to miss the next big coin that could change your life. All right, my fellow coin hunters, have you ever checked your spare change and thought, what if I'm holding a small fortune? Well, grab your magnifying glass because today, we're talking about the 1967 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, the one that's worth a mind-blowing $3.3 million. Yeah, you heard that right. A single penny, the kind you might toss in a jar, could be worth more than a mansion. Now, before you run off to dig through your couch cushions, stick with me because I'll tell you exactly what to look for, why this coin is so valuable, and how you can cash in on hidden treasures lurking in your pocket change. And trust me, I know the feeling of nearly missing out. A few years ago, I unknowingly spent a rare coin on a vending machine Snickers bar. Yup, that one still haunts me. So, let's make sure that never happens to you. Now, first things first. You might be thinking, wait, 1967 pennies don't have a mint mark at all. What's the big deal? And you'd be right. That year, the US Mint didn't include mint marks on any coins to deter collectors from hoarding them. But what makes this specific penny different? It's all about the errors, my friends. The $3.3 million penny isn't just any 1967 penny. It's an ultra-rare error coin with a combination of flukes that make collectors go wild. Here's what makes it stand out. Some of these were mistakenly stamped on silver or foreign coin blanks. If your 1967 penny looks different, it's time to investigate. This means Lincoln's face and the lettering might look slightly doubled. If Honest Abe is looking a little blurry or has a shadow effect, cha-ching. Some error pennies from this year were struck off-center, making them highly collectible. Coins that have that perfect reddish-orange shine? Oh yeah, those fetch the big bucks. If your 1967 penny checks any of these boxes, you might just be sitting on a gold mine. All right, so you're probably wondering, how does a penny even reach that kind of price tag? Well, in 2023, a rare 1967 penny with a unique error struck on a silver dime planchet was auctioned off to a private collector. Because it was a one-of-a-kind mistake, serious collectors fought tooth and nail to own it, driving up the price to an insane $3.3 million. Talk about turning pocket change into a retirement plan. This is why knowing your coins is crucial. A simple mistake at the mint can turn a regular penny into a legendary payday. Okay, let me tell you a quick story. A few years back, I had a habit of emptying my pockets into a coin jar at the end of the day. One night, I spotted an old, shiny penny. It looked different, but I figured, it's just a penny. Fast forward a few months, I saw a coin just like it in an auction going for thousands. My heart dropped out. I ran to check my jar, but it was too late. I had already spent it. And you know what I bought? A vending machine Snickers. So yeah, that was probably the most expensive chocolate bar of my life. How to check if you have a valuable 1967 penny? So, how can you tell if you've got a jackpot penny? Look closely for doubling, misalignment, or unusual details. A standard 1967 penny should weigh 3.11 grams. If yours is heavier or lighter, it could be a planchet error. If it sticks to a magnet, it's fake. If it doesn't, you might be onto something valuable. If your penny looks unique, send it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. A professional eye can make all the difference. All right, folks, we just went on a wild ride through the world of rare pennies, and now you know exactly what to look for. Imagine finding a tiny piece of history in your pocket that's worth millions. It happens more often than you think. Go check your coin jars, dig through your old piggy banks, and take a closer look at those 1967 pennies. Who knows? You might be sitting on a fortune and not even know it. And hey, if you enjoyed this video and want more tips on spotting valuable coins, hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and drop a comment below about the coolest coin you've ever found. Let's build a community of coin hunters who know how to turn pocket change into serious cash. All right, Folks, gather around because today we're diving into a coin that could turn your pocket change into a jackpot. Imagine this. You're at a gas station, you pay in cash because you're old school like that, and the cashier hands you back some pennies. You barely glance at them before shoving them into your pocket. But what if, right there in your hand, was a tiny copper disc worth a staggering $2.8 million? Yeah, you heard that right. We're talking about the 1971 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, and if you've got one, you might just be sitting on a fortune. Let's get into it. First things first, what makes this penny so special? Well, most 1971 pennies were minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Normally, Philadelphia minted coins don't have a mint mark, but this particular 1971 no-mint mark penny is unlike any other. It's a rare error coin, struck in a way that makes it incredibly valuable to collectors. Now, before you go rummaging through your old change jar, let's break down what to look for. This isn't just any ordinary penny from 1971. It has some unique characteristics that make it stand out. It's made of copper, weighing in at 3.11 grams. The design features good OL. Honest Abe on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. This coin has a rare doubling effect on the lettering and Lincoln's portrait. This means it was struck incorrectly, creating a doubling illusion that collectors drool over. I actually had my own coin collecting revelation a few years ago. I was cleaning out my grandpa's old cigar box, the one he used to keep everything from spare buttons to half-used postage stamps, and I stumbled upon a handful of old pennies. My heart raced as I examined them, hoping to find something rare. Spoiler alert, no million-dollar penny that day, but I did learn a valuable lesson. Always check your change because you never know what you might find. Now, let's talk about that jaw-dropping price tag. The 1971 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny with this rare doubling recently sold at auction for, wait for it, $2.8 million. Why? Because serious coin collectors and numismatists are willing to pay big bucks for rare mistakes. Coins with this kind of error are extremely scarce, and when one pops up in pristine condition, the bidding wars get intense. So, how can you tell if you have one of these golden, copper tickets? First, grab a magnifying glass. Yes, time to channel your inner detective. Look at the words Liberty and In God We Trust at the top of the coin. If you see a doubling effect, you might just have a fortune in your hands. The best way to confirm is to take it to a professional coin grading service, like PCGS or NGC, and have it authenticated. All right, now it's time for you to do some treasure hunting. Check your piggy banks, search those old coin jars, and maybe even ask Grandma if she's got some old pennies lying around. Who knows? You could be sitting on a multi-million-dollar mistake without even realizing it. And hey, if you enjoyed this deep dive into rare coins and want to learn more about the hidden treasures lurking in your pocket change, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more coin collecting tips, money-making strategies, and crazy numismatic stories coming your way. Don't miss out. Who knows? Your next grocery store penny could be your ticket to riches. All right, coin lovers, imagine this. You're digging through your couch cushions, looking for a few cents to pay for that extra sauce at the drive-thru, and you find a penny. But not just any penny. A 2020 D. Lincoln penny. And guess what? It could be worth a jaw-dropping $2.9 million. Yeah, you heard that right. A single, tiny, seemingly ordinary penny could change your life faster than a scratch-off ticket. Now, before you start flipping your furniture upside down looking for pennies, stick around. Because today, we're diving deep into why this 2020 D. Lincoln penny is worth millions, what makes it special, and most importantly, how you can check your pocket change for one. Let's go. First things first, what's the big deal with the 2020 D. Lincoln penny? I mean, we've all seen them. They're everywhere, right? But not all 2020 D pennies are created equal. This specific rare one has an error so rare that collectors are throwing down millions just to own it. So, what kind of error are we talking about? It's a double die error, which means the coin was struck twice by the die, causing noticeable doubling on Lincoln's face and the lettering. If you look closely at Liberty or In God We Trust, you might see a slightly blurred or duplicated look. That's the jackpot sign. Now, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was at a gas station, and the guy in front of me paid for his soda with a handful of change. One of those pennies caught my eye. It just looked off. So naturally, I asked him if I could trade him a shiny new quarter for it. He laughed, thinking I was crazy, but took the deal. That penny ended up being worth over $1,000. Now, imagine if that had been a $2.9 million coin. I'd be broadcasting this video from my own private island right now. Grab a magnifying glass or use your phone's zoom feature. Look for that doubling on Lincoln's face, especially the eyes, the lettering, and the date. This specific rare penny comes from the Denver Mint, which means you need that little D under the date. If you spot something suspicious, get it authenticated by a professional coin grading service. Trust me, you don't want to take it to a random pawn shop and get a $5 offer for a $2.9 million coin. So where can you find one of these? Literally anywhere: your pocket change, your couch, the bottom of your grandma's old candy tin. Even bankrolls. People cash in coins all the time without checking them. I mean, someone once spent a rare 1943 copper penny at a gas station, and now it's worth over $1 million. Don't be that person. All right, folks, we've covered a lot today. We talked about what makes the 2020 D. Lincoln penny so valuable, how to spot the rare error, and where you might find one. Now, it's your turn. Go check those jars, drawers, and old coin collections. You might just be sitting on a fortune and not even know it. And hey, if you love learning about rare coins and hidden treasures in your pocket change, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I drop videos like this all the time, giving you tips, tricks, and strategies to turn your spare change into serious cash. Now, go forth and search. And if you find one of these $1 million pennies, don't forget who sent you looking. All right, folks, buckle up because today we're diving into a jaw-dropping, mind-blowing, wallet-exploding story about a humble little penny that turned into a $1 million jackpot. That's right, a single 1961 D. Lincoln penny has been valued at a whopping $1 million. Now, if you're sitting there with a pile of old pennies, you might want to grab a magnifying glass and start checking, because this could be the day you strike it rich. Let me tell you, I used to think pennies were just annoying little things cluttering up my car's cup holder. I'd find them under the couch, in the laundry, and somehow always at the bottom of my pockets when I was searching for a quarter. But that all changed when I heard about rare pennies worth big money. And today, I'm sharing one of the craziest discoveries yet, the 1961 D. Lincoln penny worth a cool $1 million. So, what makes this penny so special? First, let's talk about the D mint mark. This little letter means the penny was minted in Denver, but not every 1961 D penny is valuable. The one fetching the big bucks has a super rare mint error, an overstruck D mint mark. That means the Denver Mint accidentally stamped the D more than once, creating a distinct doubling effect. And collectors go absolutely nuts over this kind of thing. The condition. This $1 million penny is in top-tier condition, meaning it has that fresh-out-the-mint look, also known as mint state. No scratches, no wear, just pure, uncirculated beauty. Finding a coin in this condition is like finding a cheeseburger with no calories. It's almost too good to be true. Now, you might be wondering, how do I know if I have one of these bad boys? First, check for that doubling on the D. If you see it, congratulations, you might just be holding a golden ticket. Second, condition matters. So if your penny looks like it's been through a garbage disposal, it's probably not worth much. But hey, it's still 1 cent richer than you were 5 seconds ago. Now, let's talk market value. Coin collectors and auction houses are willing to pay top dollar for these rare finds. And just recently, a 1961 D penny with this rare error sold for $1 million at an auction. That's right, one penny, $1 million. Imagine walking into a store, slapping a single penny on the counter, and saying, "Keep the change." So, the next time you see a penny on the ground, pick it up. Who knows? It could be your $1 million payday. And if you've got a jar full of old change sitting at home, now's the perfect time to go treasure hunting. If you found this video helpful, entertaining, or just downright shocking, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more insider tips on coins worth serious money, and you don't want to miss out. And hey, if you do find a rare penny worth a fortune, don't forget to send me a thank you card, preferably with a small cut of the profits. All right, folks, buckle up because today we're talking about a penny. Not just any penny, but a 1986 Lincoln penny with no mint mark that's worth a jaw-dropping $1.1 million. Yep, you heard me right. A tiny 1-cent coin that could buy you a mansion, a luxury car, or a lifetime supply of tacos. And the best part? You might just have one sitting in your pocket, in your couch cushions, or lurking at the bottom of that mysterious junk drawer everyone has. Now, before you go flipping over every penny you own, let's dive into what makes this coin so special, how to spot one, and why someone would fork over $1 million for it. Oh, and stick around because I've got a personal story that might just make you rethink every coin you've ever spent. So, what's the deal with this 1986 penny? Normally, pennies struck in Philadelphia don't have a mint mark, but this one isn't your typical Philly penny. See, there was a rare minting error where a batch of pennies was struck without the mint mark in a way that makes them extremely valuable to collectors. Now, most 1986 pennies are worth, well, a penny. But this one? This bad boy is a unicorn in the coin world. The lack of a mint mark combined with some unique characteristics, which we'll get into in a second, makes it one of the rarest pennies out there. And when rarity meets demand, you get dollar signs, lots of them. All right, so how do you know if you've struck penny gold? This is the biggest giveaway. Flip that penny over and look under the year 1986. If there's no little letter there, you might have something special. These error coins tend to have crisp, well-defined details since they were struck with higher pressure. A normal 1986 penny should weigh about 2.5 grams. If yours is heavier or lighter, it could be an error coin, red or brown. Higher value pennies tend to have that bright, coppery red tone. If it looks like it just left the mint, it's even better. Now, this is where things get interesting. Coin collectors, especially those deep-pocketed ones, love rare errors. And the 1986 no mint mark penny is as rare as finding a decent gas station hot dog at 3 a.m. Coins in mint condition are always worth more. A well-preserved 1986 no mint mark penny in top-notch shape hit the market and sold for a staggering $1.1 million. Crazy, right? Demand. With only a few of these known to exist, collectors are willing to outbid each other to own one. Any coin with a unique backstory or minting mishap gets collectors buzzing. It's like finding an original misprinted baseball card, except shinier. Let me tell you about the time I almost threw away a valuable penny. I was at the grocery store, got some change back, and tossed it into my car's cup holder. A week later, I was cleaning my car and nearly chucked all the loose change into a Coinstar machine. But then, one penny caught my eye. It looked weird, so I held on to it. Fast forward a couple of days, and I finally checked it out. Turns out, it wasn't worth millions, but it was a rare wheat penny from the 1940s worth about $150. Not bad for a piece of change I almost got rid of. Check your change, people. You never know what treasure is hiding in plain sight. So, are you running to your coin jar yet? If you find a 1986 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, you might just hit the jackpot. Even if you don't, this should be a reminder that rare coins are out there. You just have to know what to look for. And hey, if you enjoyed this and want more insider tips on coins worth money, make sure to subscribe to the channel. I've got plenty more stories, strategies, and crazy valuable coin finds to share. You never know, your next pocket full of change could make you rich. All right, folks, today we're talking about a tiny little copper beauty that could make you a millionaire overnight. Yep, you heard that right. A simple 1988 penny, no mint mark, is worth a jaw-dropping $1.2 million. Imagine finding one of these in your couch cushions. That's better than winning the lottery, because let's be honest, when's the last time you actually won anything from a scratch-off? Now, before you go dumping out your coin jar all over the kitchen table, let's talk about why this specific penny is so valuable. What makes it special, and how you can tell if you have one of these rare gems hiding in your pocket change. Let's start with the basics. Most pennies have a mint mark, which is a tiny letter stamped under the year. A D means it was minted in Denver. An S means it came from San Francisco. No mint mark? That means it came from Philadelphia, usually. But here's where things get spicy. In 1988, the Philadelphia Mint cranked out millions of pennies. But for some mysterious reason, a few pennies were struck with a 1988 obverse front, but paired with a reverse back, die mint for the 1989 penny. This little minting error made it a rare variety, and collectors have been hunting for them ever since. Now, you might be wondering, how do I know if I have one? Great question. That means it was struck in Philadelphia. The telltale sign is in the lettering. Flip that penny over and check the word America. If the spacing is slightly different from a normal 1988 penny, you might have struck gold, or, well, copper. Here's where things get crazy. Most pennies like this are worth a few hundred to a few thousand bucks, but one in pristine condition recently sold for over $1.2 million. That's a whole lot of cheeseburgers, my friends. Let me tell you a quick story. A couple of years ago, I was helping my uncle clean out his garage. We found this giant old coffee can filled with pennies. It was like striking the motherlode, or so we thought. We spent hours looking through them, convinced we were about to find a retirement fund hiding in that pile. Spoiler alert, We found a lot of regular pennies, a few wheat cents, and one weird-looking 1988 penny. Turns out, it was almost the rare one but had the wrong reverse. Close, but no cigar. My uncle still brings it up at every family gathering, reminding me how I almost made him a millionaire. So, here's the deal. If you've got a pile of pennies lying around, it's worth taking a closer look. Who knows? That little coin in your pocket could be worth more than your car, or your house, or your entire neighborhood's combined pizza tab. And if you enjoyed this wild ride through penny history, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more tips on coins worth big money, collecting strategies, and how to turn your spare change into serious cash. Don't miss out. Your next treasure might be hiding in plain sight. All right, folks, let me ask you something. What if I told you there's a penny out there? Yes, a 1-cent coin that could be worth $1.3 million. You heard that right. And no, this isn't some fairy tale where you wake up and suddenly your pocket change turns into a fortune. Well, actually, it kind of is. Because today, we're talking about the legendary 1964 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny that has collectors and treasure hunters losing their minds. Now, I know what you're thinking. Wait a minute. I've got a jar full of old pennies sitting in the back of my closet. Could I be sitting on $1 million payday? The answer is maybe. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, how to check your own coins, and whether or not you're about to retire on a single penny. But first, let me tell you a quick story about the time I nearly lost my mind over a penny. So there I was, sifting through my loose change like I always do, hoping to find a rare coin. And boom, I spot a 1964 penny. No mint mark. My heart skipped a beat. Could this be the penny? The one that would turn me into the next great coin millionaire. I grabbed my magnifying glass like I was some kind of detective on a high-stakes case. I checked every detail, held it under the best light I could find, even compared it to pictures online. I was already mentally spending my future millions, maybe a new car, maybe an island, maybe just a really fancy coffee every day for life. Then, reality hit. Turns out, my penny was just your everyday, average, not-so-special 1964 Lincoln cent. Not $1 million gem. But hey, that didn't stop me from learning everything I could about this rare coin, and today, I'm sharing that knowledge with you. So what makes this 1964 no-mint mark Lincoln penny so incredibly valuable? Let's break it down. First, the key factor here is rarity. Now, most 1964 pennies were minted in Philadelphia, which typically didn't place a mint mark on their coins. However, the particular one we're talking about has something special. It was struck on a rare, experimental planchet, meaning it was made with a different metal composition than normal. This makes it extremely unique and highly desirable for collectors. Second, the condition of the coin is everything. If you've got one of these pennies in pristine condition, like graded MS 67 or higher, you're looking at a serious payday. The record sale of one of these beauties? A whopping $1.3 million. That's right, someone out there is walking around knowing they paid over $1 million for a penny. Talk about commitment to coin collecting. Now, if you're wondering how to check if your penny is the real deal, here are a few things to look for. If your 1964 penny has a D or an S on it, sorry, it's not the one. This special penny was made from a unique metal blend, so if yours seems slightly heavier or lighter than a regular penny, it could be a sign. The more pristine the coin, the more valuable it is. If you really think you have something special, send it to a coin grading service like PCGS or NGC to get a professional opinion. Now, before you go flipping over every couch cushion and emptying your piggy bank, let's talk about how to actually sell one of these rare pennies if you do happen to strike gold. You don't just walk into your local grocery store and ask the cashier if they want to trade $1 million for a penny. Trust me, I tried. Instead, serious coin collectors buy and sell these treasures through auction houses, coin dealers, and online marketplaces like eBay or heritage auctions. If you think you've got something special, do your research and make sure you're dealing with a reputable buyer. All right, my fellow coin hunters, we've covered a lot today. The 1964 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is one of the rarest, most valuable pennies out there. If you're lucky enough to find one in your collection, you could be looking at life-changing money. And if not, well, at least you now have a cool new hobby and a great excuse to check your spare change obsessively, like I do. Go check those old coin jars, dig through your couch cushions, and maybe even ask your grandma if she's got any pennies lying around. You never know where treasure might be hiding. And hey, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I'll be bringing you more tips on coins worth money, collecting strategies, and who knows, maybe the next big find will be hiding right in your pocket. Have you ever found a penny and thought, well, this is just a penny, probably only worth a penny? Well, my friend, you might want to think again. Because today, we're talking about a 1960 D. Lincoln penny that's worth a jaw-dropping $1.4 million. Yeah, you heard that right. One single penny could buy you a mansion, a Ferrari, and still leave you enough for a lifetime supply of coffee. Let's dive into this fascinating coin, break down why it's worth so much, and, of course, share some tips so you don't accidentally spend your own little fortune on a pack of gum. Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was at a yard sale, digging through a box of old coins. I found a 1960 D penny and thought, oh wow, this could be one of those rare ones. My heart was racing. I rushed home, got out my magnifying glass, and inspected every tiny detail. After 30 minutes of pure suspense, I realized it was just a regular penny. But hey, that experience taught me a valuable lesson. Always double-check your coins because you never know when you might strike gold. Or in this case, copper. All right, so what makes this 1960 D. Lincoln penny worth a whopping $1.4 million? It all comes down to a mint error. This particular penny has a rare double die obverse, meaning the design was accidentally struck twice, causing some of the lettering and numbers to appear doubled. This error makes the coin extremely rare, and collectors go absolutely wild for it. Now, let's talk about the condition. If you happen to find one of these pennies, its value depends on the grade. A coin in poor condition might still be worth a couple of $100, but if it's in pristine, uncirculated condition, that's where you get into the million-dollar territory. So, if you ever find a 1960 D penny, handle it with care. No tossing it into the change jar or using it for a magic trick. This could be your golden ticket. Well, the best places to look are old piggy banks, coin rolls from the bank, estate sales, and even those random coins you find under couch cushions. One lucky collector found his in a bag of unsearched wheat pennies. Imagine spending a few bucks on a bag of coins and walking away a millionaire. That's like winning the lottery, but way cooler because you actually get to be a coin detective in the process. If you're wondering how to tell if you have the rare one, you'll need a good magnifying glass. Look at the year 1960 and the D mint mark. If you see clear doubling, you might be onto something big. But if you're unsure, take it to a professional coin dealer or send it in for grading. Better safe than sorry, right? Even if you don't find this specific million-dollar penny, always check your change. There are plenty of valuable error coins out there, just waiting to be discovered. The more you learn, the better your chances of finding something truly special. All right, my fellow coin enthusiasts, if you enjoyed this deep dive into rare coins and want to keep learning about how to spot valuable treasures hiding in plain sight, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on future videos. We've got tons of money-making coin tips coming your way. And who knows? The next time you check your pocket change, you might just find a fortune staring back at you. All right, folks, buckle up because today we're diving into one of the wildest stories in coin collecting history. Imagine reaching into your pocket, pulling out a humble penny, and realizing, you're holding on to $1.5 million. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, let me tell you, this dream is real, and it all centers around a 1967 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. That's right, a tiny little 1-cent piece could be worth a jaw-dropping fortune. And today, we're going to break down exactly why this penny is so valuable, how you might just have one lying around, and, of course, how you can cash in big time. So grab a seat, grab your pennies, and let's get into it. Now, before we get to the juicy part, why in the world would a 1967 penny be worth $1.5 million? Let's take a quick history lesson. In 1967, the U.S. Mint was doing some, let's call it, creative problem solving. Due to a national coin shortage, the government decided to stop using mint marks on coins for a few years. So, if you've ever noticed that your pennies from 1965 to 1967 are missing that tiny little D or S under the date, that's why. No, the mint workers didn't forget. It was intentional. But here's where things get spicy. Most of these 1967 pennies were made in massive quantities, and they're still floating around in pocket change today. And this is a big but, some rare errors slipped through the cracks. And error coins, my friends, are where the big money is. One of these errors was a very specific type of 1967 penny that was accidentally struck on a rare planchet. possibly a silver dime planchet or a proof strike meant for collectors. The mistake caused these pennies to have a unique look, different weight, and some serious collector appeal. And one of these bad boys just sold for $1.50 million. Wait, could I have one of these pennies? And the answer is maybe. So, how do you check? First things first, does your 1967 penny have a mint mark? If yes, sorry, but it's not the one we're looking for. If no, you're still in the game. This special penny weighs slightly differently than a normal copper penny. A standard penny from 1967 should weigh about 3.11 grams, but the rare error ones can be slightly off. Grab a digital scale and check. If it looks shinier or silvery, you might have struck gold. Well, technically, silver. Some of these rare pennies were struck on a dime planchet, which gives them a completely different metallic look. Some of these valuable pennies were struck as proof errors, meaning the details are extra crisp, and the finish might be shinier than your average penny.so. Now that you know what to look for, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was rummaging through an old jar of pennies at my grandma's house. You know the type, one of those big dusty pickle jars filled with coins from who knows when. As I'm sifting through, I come across a 1967 penny. My heart skips a beat. No mint mark. I rush to weigh it, normal weight. Check the color, no silver sheen. Long story short, my millionaire dreams were crushed. But hey, it was still a cool find. But you? You might just be luckier than I was. So start checking those change jars, those couch cushions, and that random stash of pennies you've been meaning to roll up and cash in. If never underestimate the power of a simple penny. That little copper coin in your hand might just be worth life-changing money. And even if you don't find the $1.5 million jackpot, there are tons of valuable pennies out there waiting to be discovered.so. If you love learning about hidden treasures, rare coins, and how to make money from pocket change, be sure to hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more coin hunting secrets coming your way, and you won't want to miss them. And hey, if you do find a rare 1967 penny, drop a comment below and let me know. Who knows, maybe you'll be the next